Hello everyone, I am Trupti Pandya and today I will be teaching you Element of Account Standard 11 Part 1 Chapter 4 Journal. In previous lecture we already completed point number 8. Today let us start the ninth point, loan and interest on loan. Transactions of loan and interest on loan can be categorized into two categories. First, loan borrowed and paid, payable interest. When we borrow the loan as a trader or as a businessman, when in the business unit, loan borrow from the third party or loan borrow from the bank, at that time interest is payable because bank is the giver and we have to pay the interest to the person or a bank. Second point, loan lent. Second thing is that as a trader, as a businessman, we lend to loan to the third party. At that time, receivable or received interest. At that time, we receive the interest, otherwise receivable of interest is there. An additional capital is required besides owner's capital to run business. When owner's capital is there, and then also some additional capital is required, at that time also we borrow the loan. In these circumstances, businessmen borrow money from bank, financial firm, other person or financial institution. This obtained loan is known as a loan borrowed from the third party, from the any person, from the bank or from the any financial institution. When we borrow the loan, at that time it is called the borrowed loan. Many times surplus ideal funds of the business are lent to the employees or third person. If in a business unit any surplus amount is there, surplus fund is there, at that time as a businessman we we lend the loan to our employee, otherwise the outer side third party is there. It is called the lent loan. Both types of loan accounts are personal accounts, thus the rule of personal account is applicable to it. When there is a rule, when there is a loan is there, at that time we use the personal account because receiver and givers are there. So we use the personal account rule. Interest amount is calculated at a predetermined rate and at the end of a specified time period. Interest on borrowed loan is an expense of a business unit. When we borrow the loan from the bank or from the third party, at that time we have, as a trader or as a businessman, when we paid this amount, it is an expense for the business unit, and so we have to write this in profit and loss account debit side. But this interest account is debited while interest is received on the lent loan. Interest is a revenue, and when we lend the loan to the third party or our employee, at that time as a businessman we receive the interest, and so interest account is credited. Borrowed loan is a liability of a business. When borrowed the loan, it is a liability for the business unit, but therefore it is credited. Lent loan is a receivable of a business, therefore it is debited. From the following illustration, let us understand transaction pertaining to loan and loan interest. Illustration number 7. Write journal entries for the following in the books of Pranam. Here 2015, January, March, June and August is given. In January 1st, a loan of rupees 15,000 at 14% is borrowed from Pawan for a business. When there is a 14% loan is there, cash comes in a business unit 15,000 rupees. When loan borrow, at that time cash comes in our business unit and it is for the loan amount is there, so we have to credit the loan of the giver. Who is the giver of the loan? Pawan. Here in first transaction, Pawan is the giver of the loan, and so we have to credit the Pawan because Pawan is the giver, benefit giver to the business unit, and cash comes in our business unit, so cash account debit. So here January 1st, a loan of rupees 15,000 is there. 15,000 comes in our business unit, so we have to write cash account debit 15,000 to 14% loan of Pawan account 15,000. Being a loan of rupees 15,000 at 14% is borrowed from Pawan. Now March 1st, a loan of rupees 18,000 at 18% is given lent to Pushkar. Here lent given to Pushkar. It means here cash goes from our business unit. And who is the receiver? Here Pushkar is the receiver. So we have to write March 1st loan to Pushkar account debit 18,000 to cash account 18,000. Being a loan of rupees 18,000 at 18% is given to Pushkar. Now third transaction, June 30, paid interest of 6 months on loan borrowed from Pawan. On 1st January, 14% and loan borrowed from Pawan. Now January to June, it means it is the 6 months are there. And so paid interest of 6 months on loan borrowed from Pawan. So 15,000 into 14 upon 100 into percentage is given. And 6 upon 12 for 6 months it is there. So we have to write that the journal entry for this, loan interest account debit 1050 to cash account 1050. Being interest on loan of rupees 1050 is paid at 14% for 6 months. When we calculate, then it comes 1050 rupees. August 31st, from Pushkar, interest on loan is received for 6 months. When we lent the loan to Pushkar, at that time March to August, March, April, May, June, July and August. This is also 6 months are there. So here 18,000 into 18 upon 100 into 6 upon 12. Then amount we receive is rupees 31st August cash account debit 1,620, because here we receive the interest. So we have to write cash comes in our business unit 1,620, and for which we receive this cash, to loan interest account 1,620. Here we paid the interest. As a businessman, we paid the interest. Loan interest account is an expense for the business, so debit 1,050, and cash goes from the business unit to cash account 1,050. 14% loan is borrowed on January 1st, which is liability. Therefore, loan account is credited on 30 June. Interest of 6 months is paid on this loan, which is an expense. It is debited to interest loan account and credited to cash account. 18% loan is given on March 1st, which is receivable. Therefore, loan account is debited on 31st August. Interest of 6 months is received, which is revenue. It is debited to cash account and credited to interest loan account. So it is a very easy. When there is a income is there, as per the nominal rule, it is a credit, and when there is a expense is there, as per the nominal, it is debit. And giver and receiver's personal, when loan borrow or loan lent is there, then we have to use the personal rule, giver and receive. Now 10th point, trade discount, cash discount and allowances. Here many times at the time of purchase or sales of goods and at the time of collection, very small amount from total price is either not paid or not received. This non-paid or non-received small amount is a discount. There are two types of discount is there. If sale are there, at that time 50% sale, 10% sale, 20% sale is there. So 20%, 10%, 50%, this discount is there. It means this from the total amount, this 50%, 10% or 20% not paid by the purchaser. And this small amount is called the discount. But discount are two types. First is the trade discount and second is the cash discount. Trade discount is only calculated but not write anywhere in the books of account. But cash discount is second type. Cash discount is there. We have to minus this amount from the total amount. Let us see. First, trade discount. Companies display total price on packing of a commodity. If anything is there in a packet, there is a maximum retail price is MRP. Maximum retail price is always written on the box or packing. Company mentioned total price on packing of almost all products. At this price, products are sold on in open market. At the time of a sale, manufacturer or wholesaler allows certain discount to retailers from selling price, which is known as a trade discount. From the wholesaler, given this small amount, it is called the trade discount. At the time of a trade, wholesaler give this discount to retailer, it is called trade discount. This trade discount is an expense neither for manufacturer or wholesaler nor income for a retailer. Hence, trade discount does not have any accounting treatment in the books of account because it is not an income nor not an expense, and so this trade discount is not right anywhere in the books of account. A trade discount is deducted from total price during preparation of a bill for purchase or sale of goods, and net amount of bill is recorded in the books of a purchaser and seller. As example, goods of rupees 5,000 purchased from Paras at 10% trade discount. In this transaction, 10% discount will be deducted during the preparation of a bill. 5,000's 10% means 500 rupees. So bill when prepared, then a bill is 4,500 bills is there, because 5,000 minus 500 total price minus 10% trade discount is equal to 4,500. Net amount will be recorded in the books. Now second discount is cash discount. To enhance the competitive sales, businessmen sells goods on credit because cutthroat competition is there in the market, and so to enhance the competitive sales, businessmen sells goods on credit to attract their customer, and so customers pay dues on completion of credit maturity period. When credit sales is there, at that time maturity period is there, at that time they pay their dues. This business faces problem of cash scarcity, and so sometimes businessmen felt that there is a cash scarcity in the business unit, and so to attract the receive back a quick collection of a credit sales from customers, certain fixed percentage are allowed as a incentive discount. So customer to attract the customer and to quick payment for the credit, they give some discount to their customers. It is called the cash discount. When cash payment is there, this type of a discount is allowed, so it is a cash discount. This discount is known as a cash discount. Thus cash discount is one kind of a factor to attraction to pay due within prescribed time or before that. Prescribed time or before time, when payment is there, at that time they allow some cash to discount to their customer. Allowed cash discount is an expense to the businessman. For the businessman, this discount is a expense. Thus, it is debited to discount account. For cash discount, receiver businessman, customer it is a revenue. Thus, it is credited to discount account. Cash discount is a income as well as expense. Thus, it is recorded in the book of businessman and customer. Remember, if amount is not paid in stipulated period of time, the benefit of cash discount is not allowable. If a given time period, if payment is not there, then cash discounts benefit is not given to the customer. For example, goods of rupees 10,000, 10% trade discount and 5% cash discount purchased from Rameshwar on cash. Here total price 10,000 minus trade discount 10%. 1,000 trade discount is there. So remaining amount 9,000. Purchase will be recorded. Less 5% cash discount 450. 9,000 minus 450 is equal to 8,550 is a net payable amount. Now what is the difference between trade discount and cash discount? Let us see. First point, trade discount is calculated on total price or catalog price. Here cash discount is calculated on net of total price and trade discount. When we minus from the total amount, minus the trade discount, and then on the remaining amount we have to calculate the cash discount. Trade discount is not recorded in the books. Cash discount is recorded in the books. Trade discount is allowed because retailer sells a product on total price so that they can generate a certain profit after deduction of their expenses. To attract the customer to pay dues in a prescribed time or before that, cash discount is allowed. Fourth point, at the time of preparation of invoice, trade discount is deducted. At the time of preparation of invoice, cash discount is not deducted. Sometimes customer get tempted to purchase in big quantity due to trade discount. And here, due to cash discount, customer are tempted to pay amount in prescribed time or before that. Now, some allowances are there. Allowance. Many times businessman pays less amount or receives less amount at the time of final settlement. When there is a final settlement is there, some small amount they not paid, otherwise not received. It is called allowance. Discount allowed and discount paid. Here, discount received and discount allows two type of expense and income are there. Whatever short amount is paid or received is known as allowance. Since such allowance is an expense of a business, it is debited to discount or allowance account. The accounting treatment of this allowance is identical to cash discount. There is no predetermined tradition or a system for allowance. In case of allowance, after deduction of a insignificant amount, payables and receivables are settled. As example, rupees 500 paid to Varun as a final settlement against outstanding of rupees 550. Means outstanding 550 but payment made only for 500. It means 15 rupees is a discount received. Here payable are rupees 550 but rupees 500 are paid. So the amount of rupees 15 of a difference is allowance. Let us acquire explanation for above mentioned transactions through illustration. Illustration number 8. Record the following transaction in the journal of Mahendra Sanghvi. 2014 July 1. Goods of rupees 10,000 purchased at 10% trade discount from Taruna Traders. Here purchase the goods of rupees 10,000 and 10% trade discount, 10,000 in minus 1,000 because 10% means 1,000. 10,000 minus 1,000 is equal to 9,000. Goods of rupees 7,000 sold to Gandhi Brothers on cash at 5% trade discount. 7,000 into 5 upon 100, 3,500 is there. 7,000 minus 3,500. This way we have to write this journal entry. Journal entry of Mahendra Sanghvi. 2014 July 1, purchase account debit 9,000 to Taruna Traders 9,000, being goods of rupees 10,000 purchased from Taruna Traders, 10% trade discount. Now July 5th, cash account debit 6,650 because 7,000 minus 350 is equal to 6,650 to sales account 6,650, being goods of rupees 7,000 sold to Gandhi Brothers on 5% trade discount. Now 8th date, purchase account debit 10,800 to cash account 10,260 to discount 540, being goods of rupees 12,000 purchased on cash at 10% trade discount and 5% cash discount. So from 10,800, 10% 12,000 rupees total is there, minus 10% means 1,200. So remaining amount 10,800, on 10,800 5% cash discount means 540 is there. So cash payment is 10,260 rupees. Now cash account debit 9,405 rupees, discount account debit 595 to sales account 9,900, Being goods of rupees 11,000 sold on cash, 10% trade discount. 11,000 and 10% means 1100 is there. 11,000 minus 1100, and so 9,900 is there. On 9,900 there is a 5% cash discount is there. So 495 is there. 9,900 minus 495 is equal to 9,405 rupees cash received. So cash account debit 9,405 rupees. Discount account debit, because discount allowed is there, it is a expense, so we have to write here debit 495 to sales account 9,900. Sales is rupees 9,900. Now purchase account debit 7,200 to cash account 3,240 to discount account 360 to Bihari Brothers account 3,600. Here cash and credit, both the transactions are there. Being goods of rupees 8,000 purchased from Bihari Brothers at a 10% trade discount and 10% cash discount, half amount is paid in cash. So first of all, 7,200 divided by 2, it means 3,600 paid on the spot. Purchase account debit 7,200. Half amount paid cash means 3,600 paid cash. And remaining 3,600 Bihari Brothers account, because Bihari Brothers is the supplier, giver is there, and giver always credit. But from the 3,600 on the spot cash payment is there, so received 10% cash discount. So 3,600 into 10 upon 100, 360 rupees received the cash discount. So 3,600 minus 360, so payment only made up to 3,240 rupees. So journal entry like this: purchase account debit 7,200, cash goes from the business unit is 3,240 rupees. Discount received, so it is a income, and so credit side we write discount account credit 360 rupees to Bihari Brothers. Bihari Brothers is a giver, and so we write Bihari Brothers account 3,600. Being goods of rupees 8,000 purchased from Bihari Brothers, 10% trade discount and 10% cash discount, half amount is paid in cash. Now 15 date, Bimal account debit 13,500 to sales account 13,500. Here only trade discount is there. Being goods of rupees 15,000 sold to Bimal, 10% trade discount. Bank account debit, date number 18, bank account debit 6,075, discount account debit 675 to Bimal account 6,750. Being Bimal has paid half amount and 10% cash discount allowed to him. Here we paid the amount 10 Bimal to sell 13,500. Here bank account debit 6,075, discount account debit 675, and Bimal's account 6,750. Now 22 date, cash account debit 6,750 to Bimal account 6,750. Being Bimal has paid remaining balance of 6,750. Now 25 date, cash account debit 1,000, discount account debit 20 rupees to Sunita account 1,020 rupees. Cash comes in our business unit 1,000 rupees, discount allowed, so it is a expense, and so debit 20 rupees to Sunita is the giver, so to Sunita's account 1,020. Being rupees 1,000 received from Sunita as a final settlement for due of rupees 1,020. 31 date, Vaishali account debit 810 rupees to bank account 800 to discount account 10 rupees. Here Vaishali is the receiver. From bank we paid 800 rupees and discount is discount received is there, so it is a revenue, and so credit. Being for due of rupees 810, 800 paid to Vaishali as a final settlement. Next point, 11 point, transactions of a revenue and expense. Revenue means income and expense. Regularly different type of expenses take place during accounting period of a business. In a business, some expenses and some incomes are regularly are there. Types of revenue also take place regularly. As per the rule of a nominal account, expense and loss debited and revenue and gain are credited. To operate a business, certain day-to-day expenses like paper, pencil, rubber, ink, pens, statements, register, etc. are sundry items of office are required. They are known as a stationery. Paper, pencil, rubber, all the accounts are different. Separate account is not necessary because this item for stationery item. So we have to open one account and it is called stationery. Painting work, repairing, etc. are maintenance expense of a business. Besides this, salary, wages, telephone expense, etc. are also regular expense of a business. Sundry expenses of a business like tea, refreshment, hospitality expense or other entertainment expenses are debited to sundry expense. Incomes like interest received, commission, rent, brokerage and dividend are regular income of a business. Let us acquire explanation for revenue and expense transaction from the following illustration. 2014, record the following transaction in journal of Arun Parekh. 2014, August 1st date. For business, books of accounts purchase rupees 650. Here books purchase, so we have to write a stationery expense. Stationery expense account debit to cash account because we paid rupees 650 for the stationery. Wages of rupees 200 and carriage of rupees 100 paid in cash. Wages account debit, carriage account debit to cash account. 200 plus 100, 300. Commission received 800. Here we received commission. So cash account debit, cash comes in our business unit. Cash account debit 800 to commission received account. Paid rupees 2500 for painting work of a shop. Here in a 10th date, we have to write that maintenance account debit. When painting it is a maintenance of the building. So maintenance account debit to cash account because paid the 2500. Being rupees 2500 paid for painting work of a shop. Here stationery expense account debit 650 to cash account 650. Being stationery of rupees 650 is purchased. Wages account debit 200, carriage account debit 100 to cash account 300. Being wages of rupees 200 and carriage of rupees 100 are paid in cash. Date number 8. Cash account debit 800 to commission account 800 being commission received of rupees 800. Maintenance account debit 2500 to cash account 2500 being rupees 2500 paid for painting work of a shop. Now, electricity expense account debit 1800 to bank account 1800. Electricity bill paid by check. Being electricity bill of rupees 1800 paid by check. Sundry expense account debit 1200 to cash account 1200. Being rupees 1200 paid for refreshment and annual function of a shop. Bank account debit 900 to brokerage account 900 being a check of rupees 900 received for brokerage. Sundry expense account debit 50 rupees to cash account 50 rupees being currency note of rupees 50 eaten by got. Remember, if any shop or a business related expenses cannot be debited to specific or certain account, it is debited to sundry expense account. When we write at that time, we have to write sundry expense account debit. Thank you very much.